All right, welcome back for second half action from East China Stadium. Coach Denny White and myself, Brad Robbins, bringing you the second half. Saints trailed 21-7, and the rain is falling. And the Saints scored early on in the first quarter on their first drive, and then the Huskies imposed their will on all three of their drives. And right now, Coach, the Saints are at a crossroads in terms of how to get stops with these big offensive linemen and big backs from the Huskies, and how to stay healthy being the MAC champions and looking for a playoff run, because right now they're a little banged up.
Yes, it's and I think they stand a greater chance of slowing down the Huskies than they do of staying out of the trainer's room.
Yeah, right now it's got that feel where the Saints are going to have to come up with turnovers or get a little bit of a bounce luck here, as you can see right there, as Toby Mitchell just was that's a perfect example of what happened throughout the entire first half. He turned around and then finishes his run with absolute authority, falls forward to the 39 where the Huskies will scrimmage second down and 4, or maybe a long 3.
And he is not a one-tackle ball carrier.
No, and the guys in front of him are occupying plenty of space and effort from the defensive front. And here they're going to go to the other side with Yunez. He gets tripped up.
Nice job by the defensive line.
Nice job by the defensive tackles. Just kind of scrumming it up. And that's kind of what the Saints are going to have to do. You mentioned it's not necessarily a scheme thing, but they're almost going to have to do things that maybe technique-wise aren't their typical. Just dive into the gap and make a big pile on yourself, as opposed to, playing your technique and firing through. Third down here. Got to think Toby Mitchell is on the order. He is. He is just tough to bring down. The Saints met him right away, but he powers his way for 3 yards and gives the Huskies a first down. They're picking up right where they left off in the first half.
And the Saints have no answer for that, and I can't be of any help, because I can't think of anything you can do when you're physically outmanned, and they just keep running whenever they want.
Yeah, right now it's just going to be about trying to slow them down and honestly, or create a turnover on those plays. But they're a pretty secure play. They're not complicated. And here's Griffin, the scat back. He's plenty tough on his own. We've seen him break several tackles, and he gets a first down off the left side. So they're just taking turns right now with which way they want to go. And I wouldn't say the Saints are on their heels, but as soon as the play goes, they are, just based on the blocking of the Huskies.
Yep.
So they're on the move again. 10 minutes left in the third. The Huskies had the ball 3 times in the first half. They scored on each one of them.
Well, and we saw when they bring the linebackers all the way up, it opens the flat.
And then Witt, the quarterback, just good enough to flip one out to, I think Yunez caught one, and Griffin slipping by would-be tacklers. He's going to get 6 or 7. Looks like closer to 8, actually. Griffin's a quick back. He's a perfect complement to Mitchell and Yunez. We'll give him 9. It'll be 2nd and 1 from the 36. The give is to Mitchell. He's going to have enough for a first down. Going to pick up 4. Timing was better there, though, for the Saints. Case Peterson coming in, trying to provide size on the defensive front. Coach, you mentioned it with a couple of key players going down or being a bit injured here for the Saints. Namely, you can see Connor Shirkey. It wasn't ever dressed, but Ethan White was banged up on a play going out of bounds. Logan Ellis got hurt at the end of the first half, and you're starting to wonder.
And we've not seen Brendan Cole.
And Brendan Cole has not entered the game. He is dressed. So without those guys, it obviously changes the dynamic of the team. and you've got more football to play here in the season.
Yes.
Saints sold out completely to stack up the run. That, to me, Coach, whatever that defensive look is, it's going to, make you susceptible to a whole lot of things throwing the football, but it's the only way.
Yeah, it's the only way you're going to stop that. If you don't have 3 or 4 tacklers, they don't go down.
You just need a big mess, and you need to make it fast. And then if they are able to hold the ball and throw it over the top of you, you just have to tip your cap, because at this point, a tight end leaking out is the least of your worries. You want to keep making those piles and getting them behind the sticks. Witt takes it under center. He fakes one. It's a little different wrinkle there, and Mitchell's rumbling again down to the 25-yard line.
Rumbling is a good word.
Yeah,
a good word for how he runs.
It's not a breakaway type look. It just looks like everybody's trying to tackle a Dodge Neon. It's difficult. He's plenty strong. He's not going quick, but it looks like it hurts, and you need a lot of people with you.
If you're keeping stats, this isn't a solo tackle night.
No, it can't be. One-on-one, that's a loss, and it doesn't matter which one of you are, which one of the Saints trying to do it. 3rd down and short. Huskies go back to Mitchell. Pretty good job there. Schweifer made a little mess to begin with, but we see the one-on-one issue right away. He does a good job with pad level. Mitchell lowers the shoulder, able to keep his legs driving. We have an injury down on the field. Is that Mitchell? Just looking at the huddle, it's the only one I cannot see. I see a black umbrella, but I can't see anything else. So certainly a development of sorts. As he's tended to. While they tend to, who I believe is Toby Mitchell, the running back that we've sung the praises of. We did talk briefly about the atmosphere in this game, Coach, and how it was a little quieter because, as you see there, the band, due to the weather, was not able to play tonight. However, the marching band members obviously did a great job, and they hosted the MSBOA and received a first division rating this past week, which is the highest score that you can get. I know that's almost like tradition for them, but just a great job and worth recognizing as they are unable to play here this evening. The cheerleaders did make it, so special thanks to them. They're down on the sidelines. I think they just park it up to stay dry. So thanks to Coach Verbecky and Jordan Gillis and Isabella Koo and the cheer teams for keeping everybody fired up, even though it's a little dreary. So not a good sign here for the Huskies with Toby Mitchell down. And down for a bit, being tended to by their trainer.
And it looked like he had a cramp.
Well, and that could be understandable with the workload that he's had. He is up on his own right now, and so if it's a cramp, that's best case scenario for them. Get him hydrated and back on the field. Kind of an odd time to come off for a cramp. Just the first drive of the second half. You think the water would have been available. Maybe a Charlie horse with a helmet in the leg.
Yeah, that could be.
But he's getting up into a light jog, so good to see he's likely to be back. Some of the Saints defenders probably glad to see him take a break. Give their right and left shoulder a break from taking a pounding here, as that Toby Mitchell's been an issue all day. Tough to tackle. So 6:50 to go. Mitchell's off the field. Huskies back at it here. They replace Mitchell with Austin Stockett in the backfield and Yunez with Griffin, the scat back. This one's first back, Stockett, excuse me. Showing off how difficult it is to replace Toby Mitchell as he just gets half a yard. Although with the job that the offensive line has done for the Huskies, you would think you could almost put any of these guys and send them off the right side.
Yes, yeah, they're just a force.
Yeah, well, while Mitchell has been very good, I'm not taking anything away from him. He also is about 4 yards into the second level before he's got to use those skills. All right, Tristan Witt under center, 2nd and 9. He's going to keep it this time. Pretty good discipline there by the Saints. He's met immediately and wrapped up. Now you got to be smart. Changes the game with Mitchell out of the game, and it's going to be 3rd down and long for the Huskies.
And that's the 3rd time he's tried to roll to the left. And again, for the 3rd time, it looked like somebody messed up.
Yeah, every time he's flipped that, it just kind of looks awkward. I don't know if that's part of the play. There have been a couple times he's escaped that. And then obviously the one time was designed for him to throw and was executed really well. And with the sticks being where they are right now and the Saints playing in the box, I just saw Cortez Howard enter the game. He was one of the guys that caught one of those little flare-out passes. So Saints need to be on alert a little bit right now. Ball's going in the air. Witt escapes the pocket. He's going to run it. Plenty athletic. Slips a tackler. He's down to the 2, and he reaches. The ball is out. The ball is out, and we'll see what the signal is. Did it get out of bounds? Maybe it did not. It looked like there was a fumble the way the Saints responded. Tough to see from here. But nonetheless, something had to have happened down there. He was reaching toward the goal line. The pylon is down, and the ball is marked at the 4, so or the 3.
And you're right. He's very athletic. He's quick.
Yeah, he rolled back the pass. I don't know how honest he's being that he really wanted to throw that. He knew what he wanted to do. And he scooted earlier on a 4th and 18 and got a big first down at their first drive, which kind of changed the entire game very early. The Saints were winning 7-0. He made that play. They scored shortly after, and this time he scores it himself. Witt on the keeper right behind that big offensive line for 6. So the Huskies received the kickoff in the 3rd quarter. They use up 7 minutes and 45 seconds. And they go up 27-7. The rain seems to be a little lighter, but still coming down. We thought we might get away with a dry game, and in high school football, you can't return it, but Owen Gazar picks off the 2-point fire call, and it's going to stay 27-7. The Huskies lead. They're just kind of imposing their will right now. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the 3rd. The Saints just don't have an answer. As a coach, these are those games that you point to where when you're in your off-season programming and how you make kids think about the weight room and all those items, you start to look at these games like, look, sometimes it doesn't matter how we scheme you. Now, that's not to say that they haven't had some success with this group and getting in the weight room. It's just to further the point that sometimes it doesn't matter if you're getting blown off the ball because the guy is bigger and stronger than you. That becomes the issue. And a couple injuries obviously aren't helping, but I don't know, even with those guys healthy right now, if there's any way of stopping the Huskies.
No, I don't think so, because the injuries are to deeper backs. And the problem is the first 4 or 5 yards.
And the Saints' defensive and offensive fronts have done a nice job all year long. They're just running into a group that's kind of got their number right now, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
This looks certainly like a different size kickoff team.
May see some reserves start to play here for both teams. This one fired off the up man. Ball's on the ground. Is it possible that Lakeview ended up with that football? They're signaling that they do have it. And the official agrees. It's going to go right back to the Huskies on a short field at about the 28-yard line, and it went from bad to worse here for the Saints.
Well, and when you saw earlier on the extra point attempt that hit the crossbar, if that's going to hit you in the chest, that's what's going to happen. It's going to back. Yeah.
Driving rain, a lot of bad things can happen there, and it's a difficult spot to catch the football. Hit him right in the chest plate, bounced off. Now Witt's going to bring this offense back out. I don't see Mitchell back in the game. This time they pitch it. This one goes to Stockett.
They got the quick guys in now. Well, and I think as we talked about with the St. Clair players, if you have any suggestion of an injury, there's more going on after this game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's where, we started to look at the score and who was banged up for the Saints and what kind of pivotal roles that they play, and then having the self-control as a coach to say, all right, well, we won our league. This is not a league game. This obviously Lakeview is a larger school, so in the playoff point scheme, even losing to Lakeview means less. And you could probably still host some playoff games if you win next week. And that's a rivalry game that they're going to go to Marysville and play. So at what point do you start to consider health of your players and being ready to go next week over trying to come back and win this one, especially with the way that they're able to run the football?
And this is a prime example of your second line players really are critically important. They need to play in order to get the experience to know exactly what to do during the game, because you can walk through all you want.
It's not the same.
Game speed's a different story.
Yeah, and in those walkthroughs against the other twos or however that looks, it's just not the same. When you line up against this offensive front and get some reps, then you know what kind of what to expect. Toss play at Stockett again on the perimeter. Good blocking out there. Well, maybe too good as the hanky flies. They're calling him down at the 1. The ball did come loose again in the end zone, and the Saints recovered. From this far away, it looks like he was down, and it also looks like they're going to get a hold. I think the hold was on 22. Tyler Griffin was out there. Got a little too aggressive on that block that I complimented. So a break there for the Saints, as it would have been first and goal from the 1-inch line. It's going to back Lakeview all the way up to the 26. It's going to be first and 21. Unbalanced right here. Dive to Griffin. Scoots through. Bouncing off tacklers. Makes his way. Nice tough run for Tyler Griffin. Gets a good chunk of that penalty back and then some. Going to make it 2nd down and 5 for Lakeview.
For a scat back, he's got a lot of power.
Yeah, he's made some tacklers hurt here. Linebackers even. On his touchdown run, he did it, and obviously you see it a little more on display there because it was out in the wide open. Toss plays out to Stockett. Nice job there out on the perimeter. Tough to see the number from here. Try to get it for you. Is it the number that we don't have on the roster, 88? Really nice job fighting off a block. Reaches over the top. It's number 88. But we're not sure, based on the Saints roster, who exactly that is. Brendan Cole enters the game. Haven't seen him. Obviously, with a break in the action here, always a good time to update you on some St. Clair sports. Varsity tennis team coached by Gordy Farnsworth and Allie Kennedy are competing in the state tournament this weekend in Midland. The varsity soccer team coached by Ray Peckman, Reed Packin, and Ethan Peckman beat Roseville Monday to wrap up their regular season. They play Grosse Pointe North at Lakeshore on Tuesday in the district. So, best of luck to all of the soccer players. If you're looking for more information on Saints athletics, you can go to stclairathletics.org or follow them at Facebook at St. Clair Athletics or on Twitter at SC_athletics. Special thanks to the fire department who's on hand every night. And in case of a severe injury, hopefully we don't have to use them, and they're just here to watch a football game. Not a bad gig. Huskies go back to it, dropping back to pass is Witt. He's shown the ability to run. He kind of likes that. Pump fakes. Gets his way all the way down to about the 2, maybe the 1, and it's going to be enough for a first down, and we've seen that movie before.
Yeah, it looks like he, when he looks at his receivers, he doesn't do 1, 2, and 3. He does 1, okay, I'll keep it.
Yeah, as soon as he sees room to run, I think he's pretty confident he's going to be able to make a couple guys miss, and he's right. Gets all the way down to the 2. (27-7). The Huskies don't have to run a play here to wrap up the third quarter, and it doesn't look like they're going to. It's going to stick with the theme of the night, and that they're going to let the clock run all the way down. They're going to move to the other end of the field to start their 2-yard potential drive. And we're going to go to the fourth quarter. And if I'm taking my cues from earlier, Coach, we're going to go to a break right now, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter.
North Star Bank, your local community bank serving St. Clair, Sanilac, Huron, and Washtenaw counties. When you need a local community bank for home loans, checking, savings, and other banking needs, North Star Bank is the community bank that you want to deal with. The bank that will take care of all your personal and business needs. North Star Bank has a new mobile application that you can download to make banking even easier. North Star Bank, guiding the way. Member FDIC.
Back here for fourth quarter action at East China Stadium with the Huskies well out in front of the Saints, 27-7, and they're on the move here, although they went for first and goal from the 2 and faced with a second and goal from the 1.5, so a pretty good stand there for the Saints. It's been hard to come by. This one's been all Huskies the entire way outside of the first drive from the Ellis to Ethan White on the perimeter for a touchdown and a nice drive, but the Saints had their next one stall, and after that it's been the Toby Mitchell show, and now the Tristan Witt show as he scampers in and he's keeping them alive. Now I'd say he's short. Oh, excuse me, they're not. The body language was difficult.
It was, yes.
I thought I saw him cross the goal line, but there's a body language issue, and Lakeview's just not excited to score touchdowns anymore. I thought maybe I missed something. I didn't. It's 33-7 Lakeview, and they're going to keep their offense on the field. Try to go for 2 here. Okay.
Well, that was a good pass anyway. Hit him
right
both
in the
hands.
numbers. It bounced right off of
Yeah.
him. Really, the Huskies haven't done much through the air.
No.
I think when they have tried to go to it, the Saints have been fortunate that they haven't been able to connect. But the ground game has been superior, and they were imposing their will. It is 33-7, 10:54 to go in the fourth. And now, Coach, I think it's probably fair to ask the question about who plays right now. What do
Yes.
you?
Yeah.
We talked about it being, your cost-benefit analysis earlier when we talked about it just based on how the game was going at like 21-7. Now at 33-7, I don't know how many risks you want to take here moving into a rivalry week and then the playoffs.
No, I agree with you. I think you've got the rivalry week and then the playoffs, and you can't get anybody else hurt because we don't know the extent of the injuries that we know we already have. You don't want to lose anybody else.
Yeah, you talked about building that depth earlier. Guys are going to get some reps here, and they better because they may be needed in critical situations moving forward. But yeah, I don't know that they're going to have something that's going to solve Lakeview tonight in the next 10 minutes, because the next drive that Lakeview gets might take up the remainder of the football game and end this thing. I can't point to anything specifically effort-wise, execution-wise, scheme-wise that the Saints could do different. They're just running into a team that's stronger up front, and there's no answer for that.
Yeah, the one adjustment you could make is get bigger, but you're going to have a hard time doing that.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And really, you got to give Lakeview the credit here. I think, per our earlier discussion, I think they've cut their playbook down to nothing, and then they've just decided to stick with the four things they're good at, and they do it really well. I mean, it's just simple enough to be perfect.
Well, and as I mentioned, according to the Macomb Daily, they thought they had hit on something that worked for them, and obviously it does.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of pride in it. I think if you're offensive linemen and you're those big guys up front for Lakeview, they've got to enjoy that, right? It's simple.
Yes.
They don't have to do a whole lot other than just be strong and go find guys to move. Sounds like a motivating factor there. And when you got those backs behind them that do a really nice job running the football, you get this result. George Zepp picks that up, gets stacked up at the 39. And I didn't get a chance in the pregame to mention this, but the Saints, in the history of the matchup with the Lakeview Huskies, have never lost to Lakeview. They were 13-0 going into tonight, and it's looking right now, barring a significant turnaround, that's going to go to 13-1, and this being the first time that Lakeview's come to St. Clair in this matchup and taken one from the Saints. Ellis still in the game, although we talked about that as well. His brother went down with an injury, and he's the backup quarterback. So the first-string quarterback in the game, running the football there, gets 4. He's done a nice job of running the ball. The Saints have had some drives stall out in the red zone. Saints' major contributors on offense, your Ethan Whites, your Brendan Coles, your Connor Shirkeys, your Logan Ellis, all out of the game right now, and with some varied form of an injury. So Logan's out there leading some young bucks. Luke is out there. Shotgun snap goes. Handoff. Right away and wrapped up. That was number 12. Luke Gabriel on the carry. It's a sophomore. I haven't heard anything out of Luke yet this year, so I'm wondering if he's up now for depth and was maybe down before.
I know that he started the year down.
Kind of starts to make you think that they got ahead of that a little bit. We saw Chris Piperzak take a jet sweep earlier too, that we haven't really seen him carry the ball too much. We're starting to see those guys, and talked about the depth and how important it is. You're one injury away all the time if you're on the roster.
Timeout Saints.
Did not like their alignment. They're going to talk about it. Coach Griffin wants to talk. And you're going to see this too, right, with guys that don't play all the time and the continuity. There's only so many reps to go around and make perfect. So when you have a lot of guys who aren't in the game, you're going to get some misalignments, some timeouts, and some confusion. And that's what we've got here. But a good opportunity to learn. So if we flip this and talk about how it's 33-7 and we're just waiting for the clock to run, that's one thing. But this is an opportunity if you're Coach Griffin, Coach Bishop, you talk to your guys and try to get them better through this process and let your quarterback lead them. St. starting offensive line is still out there. Richardson, Peterson, Moselle, looks like Larry Warsiniak. Hunter, man, missed one. Large shift here. Tightens the formation. Huskies had that one scouted up. Ellis fires one away under duress, doesn't get anything other than a few skipped heartbeats from the coaching staff. It's going to bring up 4th down, and there's where you'll see the injury to Logan Ellis come into play. This might be the Saints' first punt. So as low offensive output as it seems from the scoreboard, that gives you an indication the Saints have on their possession moved the ball. This is the first punt for the Saints for the evening. I don't know that we've seen a punt tonight.
No, we have not.
They ran a fake punt.
Yep.
Snap is good. Pretty nice punt there. It takes a Saints bounce if the return men are going to get it. And it's going to be stopped on the inch line. So we talked about the lack of the starting punter, and an absolute bullet sent the other way. Just a great job there. I think that was Dean LeDuc that punted that.
That was an awesome punt. Awesome punt.
Great job by the coverage guys to get down there and stop it. They might have played that a little too close to the goal line for my liking, Coach, but I'm not going to argue with it.
That's right.
And now these are the situations you kind of know what obviously Lakeview likes to do, and you're down by a lot. And if I'm a defensive player right now, I'm just trying to make a play in the backfield.
Yes.
You can get a safety and get the ball back, and you got to be thinking about that. And if you're Coach Threet and the Lakeview Huskies, I probably just quarterback sneak this to give myself a little breathing room. But yeah, you sell out right here if you're the Saints. Why not? And they do.
Yep.
And they sneak it and they get a little running. Does a pretty good job for quarterback sneak on a defense that was selling out to stop you. Picks up 4. Just goes to prove again how strong that offensive front is for Lakeview.
Well, number 72, Parker Engel, was 7 yards downfield with the defender. Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. This is Yunez. He's going to make his way up past the 10 and give the Huskies a first down. If you didn't tune in before the Toby Mitchell injury, number 31 from the Huskies, I think he might have just taken a helmet off the thigh pad. I would guess that if this game was close, we'd be seeing him. I don't think it's anything serious based on how he left the field, but if you're just watching now, you may want to go back and scroll backwards a little bit to see what this Saints linebacking crew was having to put up with, because it was no fun for a long time. He was a big, strong back and difficult to tackle. Yunez is plenty big and strong himself and doing a nice job off the left side. He comes up a little shaky.
it does seem as if Lakeview is reasonably content simply to move the ball down the field, and
They are
if
just
they don't score, they don't score.
They've got a 4-play package going right now, and they are on cruise control for the next 6 minutes and 27 seconds. I don't think there's going to be any mystery about it. In this side of the field, I'd be shocked if they put the ball in the air and gave the Saints a chance for a pick six. I see no reason. Witt turns around, hands to the first back, who powers through and goes all the way to the 28. That was Stockett. That's going to get us inside 6 minutes when they reset these chains. Be 1st and 10 for Lakeview.
Well, and part of the difficulty is, like you had mentioned, they're like, here's the 4 plays we're going to run, and you know who's going to get the ball, but the 3 blockers in front of them pose a big problem.
Yeah, I don't have a. There is nothing that we could say as a critique of the Saints front. It's just not happening. You know, it's right now, size-wise, that front's playing a different game than our front is, and it just shows, and it's worn down, and it's taking place all night. And this is just now kind of what you don't want to see for either team. Unfortunately, you got Stockett, who's been doing a nice job, and he's down on the field in some pain. And you get that a little bit more. You know, you see these jumbled formations. You get a lot of things tangled up in there when you're running this full house stuff and everybody's running together down the field. Not a lot of great ways to make a tackle in a big pile of people other than to kind of dive at people's legs. Things get twisted and shifted. Hopefully he's just cramping, kind of stretching him like it might be. I know we mentioned it in the first half. Mention it again because it poured rain tonight, and these guys deserve some recognition out there. The chain crew that's always here for us, even when it's a driving rain in the first half. Bob McLaren, Jim Courier, Bob Courier, and Butch Kinsvater, very reliable. Want to thank them. Also thank the whole crew at Jets Pizza for continuing to be a CTV sponsor and a sponsor of St. Clair Athletics. I know they're, intention is to help the athletic program, so that's very much appreciated. Special thanks to them as well. Because I think this game will probably wind down rather quickly when we get the clock back running. The CTV crew tonight that's helping Coach White and myself out. The director, Sam Tricomo, Brianna Stokes, Maria Folletti, and Austin Barney are the CTV crew, as Stockett looks like he needs a little more assistance than a cramp to get off the field, so hopefully they can find a way to make him healthy before next week. Certainly hate to see that in a game that is well in hand and the clock is running. So in all likelihood, Coach, this is going to still mean the Saints are the MAC Gold champions at 5-0 in the league, with that forfeited game from Roseville kind of giving the Saints a whole different look for their season. But they're going to drop to 6-2 overall. Their only blemishes, obviously, to Marine City and now Lakeview. This is going to move Lakeview to 500, and they're well in the playoff hunt here. But the Saints, not all is not lost. The next week will be about focusing on beating Marysville, because it's just the important thing to do. That's not a league game either, so it has no impact, but it's a rivalry game, and it's important for playoff purposes, because tonight you were looking at potentially hosting playoff games throughout the districts. And now with this loss, if you turn around and you can't get it right and you lose to Marysville, you're probably not hosting a playoff game. So in all likelihood, you got to go and get that one to make sure that we can do another broadcast.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You have to have priorities.
Back in action.
There you go.
Pitch to the outside. Nice job. like number 84 on the tackle. It's Caden Meredith on the stop.
A solo tackle.
With it, they haven't had many. It's been tough to identify tacklers this evening. I mean, apologies to all those guys grinding in there, but it's a multi-Saint effort every time. And this might be the first time that the Huskies have to punt. Just saw a gem from Dean LeDuc from the Saints when he pinned the Huskies down at the 1-inch line. And he's not the regular punter, but he may be moving forward.
Now.
That's a good start, yeah. And the Huskies have had to use their punt team so little this evening that they couldn't get a line and had to use one of their timeouts. That's probably a good problem to have if you're Coach 3 and the Huskies. Piper Zach's going to be back to receive the punt. It's another job that you see Logan Ellis typically do. Snap's good. Kick is away. It got tipped because there's no penalty flag. And you can see the official waving his hands that it was tipped, and that's not good. You see the punter
at the St. Clair 47-yard line.
Is that Medvedik that's the punter for them as well? Because such a big deal late in the game.
Yep. It is him.
Yeah, Medvedik, you hate to see him go down with an injury. The Saints brought a little pressure. They did get a tip, which avoided the roughing the punter penalty. The Saints are going to have the football at the 47-yard line, just hoping that Medvedik can get himself up and off the field and is, generally speaking, okay. He does look like he's moving okay, so that's good news for the Husky faithful. It's 3:15 to go. Huskies lead 33-7. We're in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 for the Saints. Luke Ellis rolls right, pitches back, takes a hit anyhow. Ball stays in bounds.
Ellis keeps it and pitches it to number 12, Luke Gabriel.
Luke Gabriel on that carry. Called his number lately with all the injuries to the Saints. Doing a pretty good job running the football. You can see why he's up. Just a sophomore. Looks like they've got a first down, but they haven't moved the other set of chains quite yet. There's the signal from the official. And we have a flag down. It's going to be a sideline warning on the Huskies with the inability to move the chains forward. We still haven't moved them. So they have not given them a first down, although the mark is past the
Yes, it is.
I apologize for all the confusion, but the mark is past the first down, and they're calling it second down. The Saints are going to the air here. Lets it fly. Receivers on the ground. They're going to call pass interference out in the defensive backfield. We've got a flag down here near the holding area. All kinds of stuff going on here with 2:25 to go. And Coach White, we don't have the luxury of having that laser beam line like an NFL broadcast.
No.
But if this game is a close game and that play is important,
Holding.
Yes.
do they not measure that?
Pass interference.
Why wouldn't they measure it?
Those penalties offset. We'll replay second down.
And like you said, the second down marker is ahead of the
Yeah.
the line to reach.
And even if it's just because of how it's tilted so you can see, it's close enough that it's worth a measurement. At any rate, you got to be able to pick one up here. So 2nd and -1 to go. Ellis is going to throw again. It's being chased down. Ball, empty hand. He can still throw this? Doesn't he might have been past the line of scrimmage. I don't know that any of it matters. I think they're just going to, they are going to get him for the illegal forward pass.
Yeah.
He threw that when he was past the line of scrimmage. It was fun to watch. I thought they might just let it go for the sake of the game. That said, it's going to come back, and I think it's the right call.
Yep. Nice pass. Nice pass.
I think it's going to be an illegal forward pass.
Illegal forward pass on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Loss of down.
Loss of down.
So they're going to end up with a 3rd down and 4. Still totally manageable, but it should have been 1st down to begin with. So we're just working through some interesting circumstances here to finish, keeping everybody sharp on the field and in the booth. 2:09, nice play there. Yeah, wiped out by the position of the pass thrower. And again, that wasn't because he lost the ball and it went backwards and he picked it up. It was only because when he scrambled, he had crossed, his entire body had crossed the line of scrimmage before he made the pass. And it wasn't by a lot, but he was ahead of it. And so makes you wonder, with that being a 5-yard penalty and a loss of down, he would have been better off throwing it from way up further.
There we go.
That's a good pass there out to Brooks. Brooks turns the corner and gets inside the 20. Minute 33. Clock's going to run when the chains reset. Saints have 2 timeouts remaining. Not sure that they're intent on using them unless they want to practice something. Get everybody on the same page. Ellis looking to throw again, being chased. Tries to escape the pressure, does for now. Nice backside block. It's going to be called the personal foul. A nice job scoring the touchdown. However, in high school football, that illegal blindside block gets called, and that's going to be a personal foul.
Personal foul. Blindside block. Offense. 15 yards from the spot of foul. 2nd down.
And so in looking at that play, Coach, that's one of those, your quarterback is being pursued from the backside. Everything about you wants to peel back and just blow that up, which is what saying, I didn't catch a number, but that's what happened there. It did allow Luke Ellis to escape, throw a really nice pass, and it was caught, and it would have been a touchdown. However, the way that you lay that block is important, and it was laid illegally, so the Saints are going to be way back at what looks like the 45-yard line when they go to scrimmage in this next play.
And that's if at all possible, and because of the speed of the game, it's often not, but you want him to turn his helmet so he's looking at least in your direction. He won't see you, but
right.
He's looking in your direction.
Yeah, and that time there wasn't much head turn. And as a player, understandably, you're kind of licking your chops on the opportunity to do that. But the reason that it's kind of out of the game is the reason that you're seeing now, because being hit like that just puts you at risk for injury. And right now, the player that was blocked is injured. So they're tending to him. Hopefully it's okay. It looks like it is. Number 28, Logan Hay, that got hit on that play. He is up. So 33-7. Saints have probably, I think they've scored 2 touchdowns at least that have been called back and had another big play called back. So score could look a little bit better, but it's been all Huskies, and I don't know that there was any change in that today, no matter what. Ellis back to pass over the middle, deflected, falls to the turf. All of that, and it's just second down now. We've had an interesting drive here. We started with about 3:13 to play, and we've had a lot of things happen in this drive, including a first down that was called a second down. Now, the school of thought here on this drive being all passing plays for the Saints could be that the only running game that they're confident in doing includes Luke Ellis running the ball, and I don't think they want to do that. I think they probably instructed him, run for your life back there and chuck it if they get close to you. And he's had to do some of that running for his life, just like this.
Uh-oh.
And now it's picked, and that's going to do it. And now I think we've got Luke Ellis down. Although he's got his arms up like he wants to be helped up, so that's probably going to be okay. Defense is going to come onto the field. 43 seconds. It's probably just going to be victory formation for the Huskies. Will be indeed. Are they going? They will not have to snap it again because the game clock is at 35 seconds and the play clock is at 40 seconds. So they'll wait to wind this down and shake hands. This one was all Huskies from the get-go. The Saints looked like they were going to come out and be able to go fast enough and move the ball, and as soon as the Huskies got the football, it became apparent that they were going to go right behind that big offensive line and those big backs, and the Saints paid for it all night, but they're going to have the opportunity to turn it around and go play a rivalry game. So easy one to forget about because you can't let Lakeview beat you twice. You got to refocus, go on the road, and get a big one. As both teams salute here, but that's going to be it for us. The Matt Gold champion Saints fall tonight to the Lakeview Huskies 33-7 here at rainy East China Stadium. For Denny White, I'm Brad Robbins. This is CTV Channel 6. We'll see you next time.
East China High School sports have been brought to you by Ascension River District Hospital, along with support from North Star Bank, St. Clair Chevy Buick GMC, Ace Hardware in La Mache, the Murphy Inn, St. Clair Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, and CTV.